get 12.
Honestly, I've not watched any. I think I've watched a couple live, but
Awesome.
it's more of been coming on afterwards
Yeah.
and checking stuff out. So
Well, that's true. So your fame could stretch out into the
yeah,
next week.
hopefully, I'm banking a lot on that. So
Yep. Here we go. Get ready. This is gonna be your ticket to success.
So I'm
man.
sure you've emailed
Right
your
here.
friends to be like, here's the link, I'm going to be live.
yeah,
If not,
yeah,
there's still
totally.
time. Okay,
All right. So we ready?
yeah,
We
let's.
live.
Are you live?
I think we're live. I think we're live.
Okay, let me find this so I can repost it into the groups.
Yeah, we can find everybody. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this T-shirt weather that we have in Arkansas right now too. It's
It's
been great.
It's been
beautiful.
really nice.
Yeah, and then all the leaves are changing too, so it's like it's fall, but it's still nice outside.
Right.
Yeah, we've had like a really extended, colorful period. It's been really nice.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, it goes pretty quick. Once it starts, it's usually just a few weeks, and then all the leaves are off. I think
Yeah,
I
we're
believe
pretty
that.
much
switches like that.
all
Yeah.
leaves are down now.
Alrighty, get it posted in the group. Welcome to everybody who's coming and hanging out. I'm Drew, and this is Peyton,
Hi.
and that's Gabe that you can see right there. He's
You
hanging
have-
out with us
Hey.
too.
Oh, I can't find you on. I was gonna try to tag you, Gabe, but
Oh, no
Oh, well.
worries.
Maybe I can tag
That's
you
all
later.
good.
Maybe we'll go back in and edit it.
yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah. Well, welcome everybody to Meet Your Maker. That's part of our Maker Hour and everything going on. I've been making a bunch of 3D printed stuff, so Peyton and I are trying to social distance as best we can because the desk has been taken over by long-term 3D prints that are printing like over here. If we can kind of turn them, we've got some long-term prints. We got like a 10-day print and then have a like a 3-day print that's going on there, and they've taken over the desk as we're cranking stuff out and doing 300X testing. So,
Ah.
so oh, there we go. Mute.
Sorry.
Look out! Sounds. So,
Okay.
yeah.
We have
welcome
eight.
everybody
We have
who
8
is
viewers.
joining us. Awesome. Hey, Adrian. Hello. On YouTube. See you on there. Yeah. So today we have Gabe Mills with us, and he is the winner
Hello.
of our Halloween contest. So how you doing today, Gabe?
I'm doing well, man. Doing real well. How are you guys?
We're good. We were just talking about how the weather, and you're in Wisconsin. You're saying the weather's doing really
Yep,
awesome.
weather's unseasonably good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, we're really enjoying it too. It's like, it looks like it's gonna storm. It's like been on the edge of storming all day today, but it hasn't yet. So,
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
going to at some point.
It
We're
looks
gonna
like
lose
it's gonna
those
storm
leaves,
out
I think.
But yeah, but it's still like the perfect temperature outside, like 70s. So it's awesome. So yeah. So how'd you get into making? Like, why? Can you tell us a little bit about how you decided to start working on projects and making projects?
Yeah, that's one of those things where I feel like it's just kind of in me. I don't know. Always been that kid kind of taking stuff apart to find out how it works, to put it back together, those kind of things. Always enjoyed building things, woodworking, those kind of stuff. I never really had a ton of opportunities in school for like shop or anything. I had a couple, but so it hasn't been really until later in life when I've been able to just say, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and start buying some of the tools and doing some of the things, and so I've always enjoyed that, and I've always had friends like, you should do this more like as a side thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe, and then just this year picked up the M2. I was telling you guys before we started here, and it's been so much fun
Awesome.
to get into that, and really just figuring it out, and I'm not overly tech savvy, but I think I have enough where I can kind of figure some of this stuff out, and building it was a little daunting because it's just like, okay, I gotta put this thing together, all right. But I think that kind of helped as well on the maker side of things. Just
Yeah.
I'm building this machine.
So was
and
that the first
was-
like robot type thing that you put together, like 3D printer or CNC machine or something, or if you
Yeah,
done that
yeah,
in the past,
absolutely.
like, you've taken stuff apart?
just as far as that goes, like programming, computer kind of stuff, I have a computer, and I
Right.
can do some things with it, but I don't, it's like you asked me to program it or re-upload the software, I'm like, okay, well, let's go to YouTube and figure this out. And that's actually what I did. And your video, honestly, I watched that for hours of the assembly part of the sled. That was super helpful, actually.
So you feel like you already know Drew.
And yeah, we're like best buds.
I mean, that's how it is.
We had a soda together while I was putting that thing, and it was
Hey,
awesome.
I mean, once we start opening soft drinks, like that's it. You want to come this friends? You want to come this friends? Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, for sure. So, with the M2 and like working on different projects, can you tell us a little bit about your project? And I'll kind of put it up here on the screen a little bit for the Halloween contest.
Yeah, so when I first got it, and got it put together, actually, I should say, because I had it in the box for probably about a month, and I'm just like, I was just kind of scared, honestly, to put it together. But once I got it together, and I was like, this actually works, and I can do this. I wanted to see what I could do, and so I was like putting stuff out there, and you can ask Nick. Is it Barrows? I don't know how to say his last name.
Yeah.
Nick Barrows,
Yeah, he, if you're on listening, buddy, he was a phenomenal help. I mean, the community of MakerMade owners was just incredible. But when I first got it going, I was like, I need to just see what I can make and get things going. And so this was one of those projects. I have a buddy of mine who loves Nightmare Before Christmas. It wasn't even originally going to be like a Halloween thing, but it was on my list before you guys announced the contest, and I was like, all right, that's up. I'm going to queue that one up. That's next. And so that's how that one came about. And I got a pack of the SVG files for Nightmare Before Christmas, and so that was I didn't design that file, so full disclosure. But then I pulled it into Easel. I'm still not on Fusion. I need to get there. Nick has told me several times I need to get there, but been still using Fusion because of the simplicity of it. Pulled it in. I kind of tweaked some stuff on it. I think actually before I pulled it in via Illustrator, there were just some things that weren't working great once I got it into Easel. So I went back to Illustrator, fixed a couple things on the graphic, and then brought it back in as an SVG file.
So how'd you know that? Like, how'd you know that something wasn't working for those beginners?
Easel, I'm sure Fusion has the same kind of thing. You can see once you get all your stuff. It has the dual views there. I don't know what they're both called, but the one where you can actually see it, how it's going to cut on the machine. And there was some stuff I was just like, it doesn't look right, or it was too thick or too thin. I mean, it's too thin there. I think that was one of the things. I was like, that is just not gonna go well. And so I came into Illustrator and was able to fix that a little bit. And you can play around with the cuts on it, right? And in Easel, you can do the outside path or on the path or whatever. But it just wasn't working. So I redid some areas and then brought it back into Easel, and it seemed okay. And the other thing that I had to play around with a little bit, and I did a couple test cuts on the corner, like kind of the top corner there, where it's like the moon or whatever, 4 bits to see what I could do. I started with an 1/8 inch, and that was still too big, so I ended up going with a 16th inch bit. So it took a long time. I'm trying to think of how long the cut took.
What material did you use? Like, what did you cut it out of?
So in that stage, when I was first cutting everything, because I was just doing it for friends and for free, I was just using scrap stuff that I had. So that piece is actually cut out of a scrap 1/4 inch plywood, and that was actually part of some of the problems I ran into. Is it would rip in some spots where it's just cheap material, and so I did have a little bit of an issue with that. But I was able to kind of fix it post-production or whatever, post-cut, before I painted it. And then I just did a spray paint on it. And so, yeah, it turned out really good. My buddy of mine and his girlfriend absolutely love it. And I've actually had a ton of people reach out to me and it's like, hey, can I get one of those? I was like, I don't know. So maybe. So seeing if I can cut some more, but it's not on the priority list right now. Got
Yeah,
a couple
I mean
other things
it's a
cooking.
bunch. So like when Peyton and I were talking about it, the scale is really hard to see.
How big is it?
Yeah, so I when I watched the other video and you guys were announcing it and stuff, I was trying to chime in afterwards. It wasn't live, but it's 30 inches, like 31 inches around there tall, and about I think about 20 inches wide. And so it's a pretty good piece. And if it was any smaller, I I think it would be easier to cut honestly if it was bigger than that.
It looks pretty
But
intricate.
yeah, it was. I mean, it was really, some of those projects I've done, you can kind of let the M2 go and, just kind of keep an eye on it here and there, or if people have the camera on it or whatever. And I've done some of those projects, but this wasn't one of them. I was out in the garage the whole time, because a lot of those little pieces would fall out. I had actually, in my test cut, a couple pieces fall out and hang up on the sled and cause some issues there. So I was like watching it the whole time, pulling pieces out because I didn't use any tab. I used like 2 or 3 tabs around. No, I think it was 4 tabs around the outside of it just to keep it in. But other than that, I didn't use tabs because I was like, there's going to be so many spots. Like I'll be cutting tabs for days.
So is it one solid cut? Is it all one thing? Awesome. So how long did it take? Piece. Adrian's asking.
And someone else, I know he said, but what was the material again, Gabe?
Yeah, so this was just a 1/4-inch plywood.
Got it.
Pretty inexpensive, and I would say if you're gonna do something intricate like that, to not use plywood. I don't know what else you can. I mean, there's expanded PVC, and I'm starting to experiment with that, but maybe like a hardboard or something that's not gonna rip out because it's so intricate. And then as far as time, I want to say it was like 3 hours. It was not a shortcut. And so it took a while.
And you're like watching it, hanging out with it the whole time and making sure it looks good.
Yep. There was, I think, I did it on a Saturday. I want to say I paused it and came back because I had to go do stuff, and I just wasn't willing to just let it run without being in there, because those cuts were so intricate, and I didn't want pieces falling out and messing with the rest of the cut. So yeah.
So when you mentioned that you made this for a friend, so do you use like CNC and do you make stuff as more of a hobby or as like a side gig or like how, or both, or like how do you use it?
So I use it for hobby, side gig, and for my job here. I actually work at a church. I'm a pastor at a church in Wisconsin, and we do a lot of like production type stuff for our weekend services. And so there's been several things where I've had to do make cuts or whatever, and I didn't have a CNC machine, so I just couldn't figure it out and cut it by hand or whatever. So I actually have a couple projects with me in my office that I'll show you that are for an upcoming
can you show us?
series.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So this one's super rough on the outside of it. I haven't done anything, but this is one that I cut out of foam.
Awesome.
And
Well,
so
I know
this
what
is
that
for
is.
Yeah, that's sweet.
an upcoming message that my boss will be doing, our lead pastor here will be doing in a couple weeks. And then to go with that, it's
My daughter would love that. Oh wow, it's a shark.
That's awesome.
So it'll be like there's a couple other pieces that I need to cut yet, but these kind of like theater type props. We don't always do stuff like that. This is very unique in that way. But just things like that, or cutting out a sign. I've done some lanterns for a friend, and so I just cut the panel and cut 4 panels and make it. So I'm trying to turn it into a little bit of a side gig, where I'm doing some stuff for commission basically, and then also do stuff for friends. So when I was first getting going on it, I cut like a big old 4-foot by 2-foot flag out. I cut a Michigan Spartans kind of thing out, huge, and from that, the guy that I gave it to was like, I want you to do 2 more of those for me, and I'll pay you, because I was just doing it out of scrap plywood, like I said.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you do it, I'll pay you. I want him to give him as Christmas gifts. I was like, all right, let's do it.
So you're your own
some of
best
that kind of stuff.
advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I figure like 1, I'm learning how this machine works, and 2, I'm getting some projects that I can put out there on my social media or just, friends and family. And so, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So how do you come up with like project ideas when you're thinking about that, like on how you're gonna use it? Like, is there anything that up next that you want to make that you're excited about?
We know you're not going to share your Christmas idea.
Yeah, I have some up next things. And I kind of look for inspiration anywhere. I try to keep, not a journal, but, pins or whatever. I have a little pin board on Pinterest. I'll do some, I don't do that a ton, but like a little sketchbook thing that I'll do. But usually it's like based on a need like I have, or like if I just had that, or I think this would look really cool. And so like I just did some cutting boards, and she wanted them personalized, and so I was like, I'll use my M too. And so I carved in letters, but then came back and did an epoxy fill on, which is the first time I've done that. And so just kind of like figuring things out. And I think that is what's the fun part about the creative side of it, is just figuring out a solution to the problem, or figuring out a solution to how would I do that if I wanted to do that. And so, yeah, I do have a couple projects. This one I want to finish up this week or next week with these props for work. And then I have a Christmas idea that I tested out that I'm going to try to bring to larger scale, which I told you guys that I'm not gonna reveal it just yet. I've already seen some of the Christmas things people posted. They're amazing. Like, and that's what I love too about the community, is like people are like posting amazing work. Like some of the stuff that I'm just like mind blown. I thought I was doing good with this, and then I see that I was like, wow. So there's a great, and then there's other people that I follow on Instagram for inspiration and stuff like that. And just the community of makers is so great. You have a question like, hey, how did you do that? Or how did you make that finish? And most of the time they'll message you back. And so I want to be that person too, where I feel like people have really helped me, and I want to be able to help when I can. And as I learn how to do all this stuff, I want to be able to help out and give back to the community. So
right on. So, and that's a perfect lead into, like, what would you say to somebody that's new to the community, or somebody that's new to making, or maybe interested in CNC or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, do you have any tips or advice that you give them?
Yeah, I would say jump in, go for it. It's a little bit of cash up front, but what you can do with it is well worth it. And then on the side of it, for me, when I first got started in CNC specifically, it's daunting, right? And I think asking the questions of like getting part of this community and asking questions. There's so many helpful people out there. I don't think I ever posted a question and didn't get a response on that the owners page, and just searching through that too. Like you can search the group. Last night I have a friend. We're over. He's gonna cut a CNC desk on it, and we want to upgrade the spring to a pulley system. So I just searched pulley, and everybody's posts came up about the pulley system and how that works, and pictures, and so I would say get a part of that community, and don't be afraid to ask questions. I know, like I should know the answer, or it's like this easy thing, but I would just post it, and people were great. No one was ever like condescending or rude about it. Everybody was really great to help. And like Nick, we were cutting an arcade cabinet panel, and we actually called him. I'm like, hey, I messaged him on Facebook. I'm like, hey, would you be able to take a call? So we called him. Me and my buddy were like in my garage, just like at night, and he just took a call. He's like, yeah, I'll help you, and walked us through some fusion questions. And but that's the kind of stuff that I think is out there. And if you're interested in getting into it, I think that's where MakerMade kind of sets it apart from other companies that are producing this stuff. Like, I don't know if there's an X-Carve community or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure there is, but the MakerMade community really has been a huge help. So.
Well, thanks. Yeah, and I love the community too, and like all the awesome stuff that they do. It's incredible to see the projects. You just like log into the group and be like, what? Somebody cut that? Like, whoa!
Yes, absolutely. I am the same way. I'm like,
it's awesome.
How in the world are you doing that? Or and
even your project looked like it could be from like a laser cutter.
Yeah.
And of like all the work that went into that, it's awesome. Like, it's fantastic, man.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a family, Gabe?
Yes, I do have a family. I am married. We've been married for 16 years,
Wow.
and we have 5 children.
5.
So I know everybody's like, we have 2 sets of twins.
Oh my goodness.
So I have 8-year-old twins and a 6-year-old in between the 2 sets of twins, and then 3-year-old twins. And so our life is pretty full right now.
Not busy at all.
Sounds like it.
Not busy at all.
I have an almost 3-year-old too.
Let's say that again.
I have an almost 3-year-old.
Okay. Yep.
So not nearly, and I feel like I'm torn in every direction. I cannot even imagine.
Yeah,
4 more.
that's a challenging age, and one of our 3-year-olds, he's just like gets into like we have not experienced in our other 4 children.
Right.
He's just into everything, and he's not naughty, but he just wants to be in the mix. So he's everywhere. He's exploring, like just getting into everything. And so it's really been given. My wife is home with them, so it's really been giving her a run for her money. With all of that.
I bless your wife. And
So,
I was going to ask though if they have requested anything for you to make.
They have not. They always get excited about like they're like my biggest fans, so
Aw.
it's super fun because they'll be like, "Dad, that's so cool."
Aw.
They'll
are they
try
like your
to figure
sidekicks,
out,
like hanging out, like, sure, I'll hand you the screwdriver, like.
Yep. So
Here's the tape measure. Yeah.
yeah, one of my 8-year-olds, he's always out there with me.
Awesome.
Boy and girl set of twins, and the boy, he's always out there with
Aw.
me, and he's excited. Like, what are you making today? You know, and or I brought that fish in, the little Nemo fish, and my 6-year-old, she's like, "Dad, that's so cool."
It is cool. I was just thinking my
You
daughter
know,
would
and
love it.
so it's just fun because they kind of got my little cheering section.
Yeah.
And then when I first got going, I was like, all right, what do you guys want? You know, so we made like little animals. I cut out animals just out of 1/4-inch plywood for them, so they got to kind of pick their animal, and I'll cut that out for them. It was just fun stuff like that. So yeah.
I love that. I was also going to ask, so I don't know if you know this, but you won by quite a large margin of votes.
You would have loved it.
And I was just wondering if you had a legion of fans outside of your doting family.
So I just started my GMD, Gabe Mills Designs, like within like right around you guys starting this competition. I was just getting that going, and the response from my friends and family have been like overwhelming. Like, because like I said earlier, people have said you should do this like on the side or whatever.
So you're finally
So I just
pursuing
posted it on my page. I think it was on my Facebook page, or maybe on both. I think it was posted on both, and just say, hey, if you have a minute, vote. And like people were just like, yeah, I voted, texting me and stuff. And so it was just fun because
That's awesome.
my community, my personal community, have just been so supportive of me getting into this. And
Wow.
I'm kind of at times I'm like, I don't know if I signed up for this much or what I got myself into here, but it's fun, and we're kind of taking it in stride and figuring out the season. But yeah, I have a lot of people that have been cheering me on and excited about the stuff that I'm doing, which is so fun. When you have people around you be like just always talking you up, it feels good, right? But I'm like, I don't know. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll figure it out, but I don't know. Let's do it. It sounds fun. Yeah.
we're going to tell you that
that's it. I mean, it has to
you
be
have
fun,
a very
right?
vast support system. I mean, I think you got over 100 votes.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, well that's awesome. That's so fun.
Good for you. I
Yeah,
love that.
And I once I won, I like posted that too. And I was like, guys, thank you so much. I won. I won.
Yeah.
But it's fun. Like, and for you guys to even like put the opportunity out there, I love that. And even if you just do like a small Christmas, whatever, I would say if you're listening, if you watch this, jump in on that contest. Like it's just fun to like put the challenge out there, and kudos to you guys for, creating those opportunities. Like, it's just, okay, yeah, let's get in. Let's get in the game here. Let's do this. It's fun.
And follow Gabe's lead and get your community to vote for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, share
Yes,
it out there,
absolutely.
get everybody to vote. Harness your networks, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. For me, yes, I was getting votes or whatever, but two, I and I said to you guys off live or whatever, I'm a huge fan of MakerMade. It's been a blessing for me. And so if there's things I can do to support you guys, I want to do that. And so putting it out there to my community, saying, hey, MakerMade's putting this contest on, would you go on and vote? It drives traffic to you guys, which is great for you as well. And so I would say do it for MakerMade. If you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for MakerMade. Get a project together for Christmas.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we appreciate that. And you're doing some really awesome stuff too. Like, I mean, we wouldn't be able to do any of the stuff that we've been doing without awesome community members like you.
Yeah, and I'm writing down ways you can help us in the future, so
yeah.
we'll be in touch.
Absolutely.
So,
please.
Adrian
please
has he's got a technical question for you.
Okay.
On your 4-inch plywood, like, what's your usual like cut depth, like per pass, when you're cutting out?
Yeah, I just kind of went with the standard. Here's where I maybe deviate from the standard, but I just went with the standard half the bit size for depth. So it would be 1/8 of an inch for that cut. It would have been a 16th. No, it would have been a 32nd of an inch. That's why it took so long too. So you're going like it was a 16-inch bit. So I did a 32nd of an inch, which is tiny, you guys. Cut for depth per pass, because you don't want to break your bit. And I found that actually slowing the feed rate down as well helps for smoother cuts, especially with the M2, where it's not a gallantry based machine. It's if it goes too fast, I mean you're gonna rock the boat a little bit there. But so then a 1/4 inch ply, it's not really whether the thickness of your material, it's the thickness of your bit, and that has just been a standard. The only time I would deviate and maybe go a little bit more is with MDF, because it seems to cut through MDF like butter, and so I've cut a little bit faster, but again the feed rate I'll still do a little slower, because it just creates for a smooth, especially when you have a lot of I'm finding a lot of horizontal lines. If you're pushing that feed rate up there, I feel like you get a little bit of chatter or whatever at the top of that. So slowing that down.
Too? Like all the way up on your router bit?
I don't. It's on like 1 or 2 on the DeWalt, so it's pretty low. So, and again, I'm new to this, you guys. So if you have feedback from me to say, well, you're an idiot, you should have it all the way up. I mean, and no one in the community would say it that way, but if you would say, yeah, you need to turn that thing up, then yeah, that's great. I don't know. I've just started in August. Okay, so I'm brand new to CNC. So so if there's stuff that I should be doing, I'm more than willing to learn. So yeah, but that's as far as bits go. I just stick with that standard, what I've seen on the community, half of your bit width. So.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions from?
We just have some congratulatory messages from Cameron Parsley and Mike Garza, and Hannah Groombridge says ditto. I may not have gotten my M2 working without all the help there is out there. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's
more fans for Gabe.
It's a huge, wonderful community. I can't, Nick is one that stands out because we actually had a phone conversation. But I mean, there's probably guys and ladies that took time for me. I mean, there's probably more than a handful of them that actually took time to respond to a private message or whatever. One guy in Australia, I was like, dude, you are amazing. Thank you so much. Kind of that kind of stuff. So I'd say, yeah, man, just lean on that community. And we're here to help. So.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, we're really excited about it. Thanks a lot for coming in and chatting with us today.
Yeah, and we are having a Christmas contest for sure. I think you can enter anytime between now and the 21st of December, actually.
Yeah. It should be posted in the owners group and on our page and stuff too, like the details
and Instagram.
Of that. And Instagram, yeah. Make sure you tag it.
Yeah, I'm looking for the tag, but Jasper is asking any upgrades for your M2 as of today. I don't know if that's a question for us or for Gabe, but. Do you have any upgrades on your M2, Gabe? Anything you've done?
When I bought it, I bought the 12-foot chains with the standard ones, thinking like I want to have a full cut. And and as I was looking at it, and there was like just how to build the frame and everything, and I wanted to do the metal frame. There wasn't enough out there at that point for me to go with it, and I somebody in the community said, you just need to do the standard and get that right and get that working and get that calibrated and then go from there. So I think I'm at that point where I'm going to start. The pulley system replacing the spring is probably my first upgrade, and then I'm talking to a buddy of mine about helping me do the 12-foot top beam in the near future, but just want to get that accuracy down in the corners of the 4x8 sheet. And so I haven't gone there yet, but I want to. And I think that's really it. I had somebody, the same friend of mine had a 3D printer, and I had him print the vac attachment. And there's been some, if you search the community, you'll see that. And somebody posted it on there. I grabbed the file, had him print it, and I've reposted that. It's worked beautifully for hooking up a vacuum. It gives a lot more clearance between the motor and the bottom there. And so that has been actually a huge help, holding up great. I think I glued it in to the board, and then I just had it friction fit to the vac tube.
How,
so
how big is the diameter? Like 2 inches or 4 inches, or how big is your vacuum?
It's a standard shop vac, so 2 inches or whatever, like a literally shop vac brand. And I think it's like 2.25 maybe, or something like that. I don't know, but the piece that was put on the community fitted almost perfect, and I ended up just sanding the inside of the piece and sanding my hose down a little bit. And it fits really tight, so which is great because when it's moving around, you don't want it to fall out.
It doesn't knock loose. Awesome.
And so yeah, so that's what I use for that. I don't think I've done any other upgrades outside of that at this point.
Right on.
Cool.
Yeah, sweet. All right, well, yeah,
This has been great.
This has been awesome. Thanks a lot for talking to us, and we're excited to see you in the owners group and interacting with you more, and looking forward to see what projects you make next.
Yeah. I'll be emailing you my list of favors.
Well, hey, thanks guys for having me. I'll bounce out here and jump on the live feed, go watch the rest.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
See you. All right.
See you. Bye, Gabe.
All right, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Gabe is doing some really incredible stuff for sure. So yeah, we're excited to see the future stuff that he's making. If here you've got some sweet projects, let us know.
Yeah.
Send Peyton an email.
Email me at Peyton@MakerMade, Payton.
And yeah, we'll talk about some fun projects, because we love to talk about what y'all are doing and just learn more about all the different things.
Also, let us know if there's someone you want us to interview, but maybe it's not you.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's
Cool.
Cool. All right, everybody. Well,
See you next week.
have a good one, and we'll see you.